Greetings and hello once again. This here is the ancient spirit Tralaka. Well, at least in spirit. Now today, continuing with part number 2 of video 48. I braced for impact. My eyes turned into tunnel vision as it was just him and I now. As I said to him, I do not care about the job or my life or anything else at this point. It was just going to be the situation, whether I live or die, the problem was going to be solved. I finally understood what could happen. I reset my footing and adjusted my hips and braced for impact. I could feel my old battle armor on again and the old ancient sword across my back as I reached for slowly that ancient sword, my favorite one I used. He laughed, which really pissed me off. He responded, "No." He continued that old ancient dragon continued, "You have showed yet the old codes of honor before battle. You did just not go into a battle rage like others did in the days of the old worlds, and even on your earth now, your little countries raging battles for no reasons. This," he says, "has saved your life." And then he continued, "I am not voicing, however, for others who may come here looking for you and some of the other warriors from those assorted times of the ancient." Da, 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 da. But he continued again, "Perhaps before I move on and get ready to transition out of the dragon era I am in now into my next life, we could maybe talk a bit." Woo! Woo! I took a deep breath and I slowly relaxed, not quite sure if this was going to be some of this trickery, and I replied, "Oh, really? Oh, really? You just come around here when I am working a job I so truly enjoy and just go take a free swing at me, and oh, by the way, I can still feel some inner bleeding from your long claws, you doofus. You know, you could at least put some mittens on them before you hit me. Those things are sharp." He gruffed a laugh. Back then, we could not have had this discussion. Huh. I decided, as I was holding my breath, to not comment on that last part, in the light of possibly of finding a way of peace out of all this. Then I could now okay, maybe now could be a good timing to get some back info on certain things, which could, if done just right, seem like a talk around the campfire, so to speak. And so I spoke up softly. "I sure do miss those old days and the old ways of making the ancient swords and the tools of the trade. Only if I could remember, it sure would be a good help to remember the old times and understanding who I pissed off." The dragon replied, "Shh! Your boss is coming over. We will talk at your place later." Da, 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 da. I quickly replied, "Hey, how about some of that dragon healing here for the wound you gave me? Inside! The wound you gave me. Inside my body." He replied as he slowly disappeared, "I said we could talk now. I did not say I was your friend yet. And he was gone. That afternoon, when my work shift ended, I went over back to my apartment in a rather fast manner. And because of the pain I was in, I needed to rest. And when I got home, my girlfriend I found was already home. She saw the pain rippling across my face as I walked across the living room floor and asked if she needed to take me to the hospital. I replied, no. Let me work in some of the old healing technique first to see what was damaged inside of my body. Oh, 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 she said. And just how did you get hurt this time? I grimaced painfully as she helped me lay on a couch, and I replied, what, do you want the short version or the full version? She replied, ha! You know you only give the version of the long version. Why tease me with the possibility of a short version of an explanation? You big tease, she smiled. So I went over the events of the day while she continually shook her head. When she was done, she says, ah, yet another dragon of bad reputation to add to the list of species in just the last few years who have gone out of their way to cause you pain and injuries. Perhaps, she went on, you need to change to a fake mailbox for your inner spirit Tralaka before you, mister, run out of body parts to get broken, and I run out of having a living boyfriend whom I love in the three-dimensional world here. Huh. And then she gave me that look. And I replied, my farmer instincts are tingling. They are telling me that you might be a bit angry. Yeah. As I had both hands on my right side and I was writhing in pain. And she replies, ha! You think? I'm calling the ambulance. It would just take me too long to get you in a car. So she makes the phone call, noting here that the ambulance was actually parked across the street from my apartment building I was in. So it only had to go 50 feet. And while they got in there and then they got out and loaded me up into 50 feet. Why do they have to turn a siren on for 50 feet? Oh, these small towns. I'll never understand them. This is the Ancient Spirit Tralaka. As always, journey safely. Journey far to many, many worlds and experience many different kinds of species and their characters and build memories upon this. Good night.